5 News at Noon starts now.
The FDA announcing updated guidelines for COVID-19 vaccines. What this could mean for Arkansans ahead. And Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. testifies on Capitol Hill amid calls for his resignation after the CDC shakeup. Thank you for joining us for your 5 News at Noon. I'm Morgan Wrigley here with Danny Cassidy.
Hello.
Hello. On another kind of warmer day, but we have some cooler temperatures in the future.
Cooler temperatures in the future. Not too bad of a day today. That was just a little bit on the warmer, sticky side, but otherwise heading to this weekend, temperatures are going to take a tumble into the 70s. We'll show you what's going on right now outside your window. You're seeing across the board this puffy cumulus clouds, a little bit more cloud coverage in northwest Arkansas. You can see in the River Valley, more so in Fort Smith and Ozark, but Poto, you're seeing a little bit of those puffy cumulus clouds, more space between the clouds. But a little bit more is kind of on the leading edge of the front, or behind the front, I should say. That cloud cover is kind of hanging around, and that front is basically kind of sitting right through, kind of near the border of northwest Arkansas in the River Valley. So you see it showing up here on satellite, a little less there in the River Valley, but all in all, that's really all we're going to see. Besides that, we're going to see some sunshine and temperatures, as Morgan mentioned, a little bit warmer than days past in the mid to possibly upper 80s in northwest Arkansas, then cooling down nicely for tonight. Then for the River Valley, into the low to mid 90s for some, and with just a tinge of humidity. I don't know if that's a word, a tad of humidity. That's not really great usage either. It's going to feel a little bit stickier out there. With that in mind, a cold front's going to swing through, and with it brings some rainfall. Now, we're not expecting a wash up by any means. Some heavy rain is possible. We could see maybe up to an inch in some areas, though I think most will see less than that. So we'll talk about our rain chances here, talk about that big cool down, and how it may impact some weekend plans here coming up in your full forecast. Morgan.
Thanks, Danny. We're learning more today after a man was attacked by a bear in northern Franklin County. Arkansas Game and Fish is calling the attack exceedingly rare. Right now, we don't know the condition of the man, but we do know he was airlifted to Washington Regional yesterday. We're told the man was working on a gravel road with his tractor in the Mulberry Mountain area when the bear attacked him. When his son went to go check on him, he says he saw the bear attacking his father. Arkansas Game and Fish says it's been more than 20 years since the last bear attack in the state, and the bear responsible for this attack has been put down and its body is being tested for disease.
It is exceedingly rare to have a black bear attack on a human being. When you hear about bear attacks and Western U.S., we're talking brown bears, grizzly bears. That is just not normal behavior for a black bear. And so we want to get to what caused this.
Wildlife officials are also testing the bear's stomach to see if it had been eating human food. They say when bears are fed by people, it can cause them to lose their fear of humans. Well, the judge says he plans to have a decision on charges in a Washington County murder trial today, as the defense for the man accused has said the charge doesn't match evidence in the case. The defense says there's no evidence to show Jason Lawson had prior intent when he stabbed his roommate to death last year. Case records show the victim, Benjamin Martin, and Lawson had argued more than once over rent Lawson said Martin owed. Defense says Martin threatened Lawson with a hammer, prompting their client to act in self-defense. But prosecutors disagree, saying the force of the stabbing and the alleged evidence tampering is enough to leave first-degree murder on the table. 5 News reporter Bo Russell is in the courtroom again today and will bring you the very latest on air and online. And a woman from Greenwood is accused of running over her husband in Lavaca. On Wednesday, the Sebastian County Sheriff's Office said they arrested 34-year-old Dara Masterson. She's being charged with second-degree battery and driving while intoxicated, and she's still in police custody. Deputies responded to a medical call for her husband on Sunday. He was airlifted to Little Rock for treatment and is still in the hospital, but is in stable condition. We've learned the funeral details for State Senator Gary Stubblefield. His body will lie in state at the Capitol Rotunda in Little Rock from 10 to 2 on September 11th, a week from today. His body will then be moved to a funeral home in Charleston. The public can pay their respects there that Friday. His funeral service will be Saturday at the Charleston High School gym of that week. Stubblefield died Tuesday. He was 74 years old. Well, today, the Fort Smith community can attend a virtual public hearing on a proposed expansion of the F-35 Pilot Training Center. It's part of the Foreign Military Sales Program at Ebbing Air National Guard Base. The Department of the Air Force has released a draft statement about potential environmental impacts of expanding the center. These could include construction and demolition activities. Today's hearing will start at 5:30 this evening. You can register online. U.S. health officials have given the green light to updated COVID-19 vaccines for the fall, but access remains limited for some groups. The new vaccines from Pfizer, Moderna, and Novavax are approved for all seniors, but for younger adults and for children, they're only available to those with at least one high-risk condition, such as respiratory illnesses, heart or liver disease, diabetes, or obesity. The new restrictions mark a shift from previous U.S. policy, which recommended everyone 6 months and older get the vaccine. Well, health officials say the new formula targets the latest variant of the virus.
The variant is going to change from year to year, so this one is a new one that has been put out based off of what they believe is the current variant available. So it's a little bit different. It's not the exact same as previous years, but it's kind of like the flu shot. It changes a little bit each year. And so if you've had the shot before, theoretically your immune system would still have some protection, but it may not be as strong against the current variant.
The CDC's Advisory Committee on Immunization Practices, which reviews data and votes on vaccine recommendations, will be meeting again later this month. Well, Italian fashion designer Giorgio Armani has died. He was 91. The Armani Group in a statement said Armani died peacefully, surrounded by his loved ones. In June, for the first time in his career, Armani was absent from his own runway show in Milan. At the time, his company said he was recovering at home without mentioning any medical condition. Before his fashion career, Armani studied medicine, served in the military, and worked as a window dresser at a Milan department store. An early job designing menswear then paved the way for his iconic brand. Launched in 1975, Armani's menswear quickly caught on in the U.S., and his designs, of course, became a staple on the red carpet. Well, Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is testifying on Capitol Hill for the first time since that massive shakeup at the CDC. It comes as a large number of both current and former public health officials call for his resignation. Natalie Brand reports from Washington.
Good morning.
Good morning. HHS Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. faced lawmakers amid growing concerns over changes he's made to the nation's top public health agency.
These changes were absolutely necessary adjustments to restore the agency to its role as the world's gold standard public health agency.
The previously scheduled Senate Finance Committee hearing comes a week after the firing of CDC Director Susan Montaraz and the resignations of several high-profile agency officials.
We are the sickest country in the world. That's why we have to fire people at CDC.
On behalf of parents and schools and teachers all over the United States of America who deserve so much better than your leadership. That's what this conversation is about, Mr. Chairman.
Senator, they deserve the truth, and that's what we're going to give them for the first time.
The Trump administration has defended Kennedy, even as public health experts sound the alarm over new guidelines restricting eligibility for COVID vaccines and his overhaul of a key vaccine advisory panel.
On Wednesday, a letter from 1,000 current and former HHS staffers called for Secretary Kennedy to step down, arguing his actions are compromising public health. At a rally this morning, Democratic lawmakers, who are also doctors, echoed those concerns.
This is not about Democrats or Republicans. It's about the American healthcare system.
Secretary Kennedy has long argued the CDC is broken and needs to return its focus to infectious disease, invest in innovation, and rebuild trust. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
There's now an explosion of wildfires in Central California, where lightning has started the surge of wildfires, burning nearly 14,000 acres in the Sierra Nevada and forcing hundreds there to evacuate. Massive fires southeast of Sacramento ravaged the historic Gold Rush era town known as Chinese Camp. Hundreds of firefighters are battling the fire, and residents are doing everything they can to save their homes. Neighbors are stepping up to help each other.
It's just a small town. Like, I know everybody that owns all these ranches all the way around us, and they're the ones here providing water trucks, heavy equipment, everything else.
Progress has been made overnight there, with firefighters saying there's now a 15% containment, while yesterday that number was 0%. Well, one of the best known tourist attractions in Portugal's capital city is now a mangled wreck. A streetcar packed with travelers from several countries derailed yesterday, killing at least 16, injuring nearly 24 others. Remy Inocencio is there.
The Smoke swelled over one of Lisbon's most famous tourist attractions, clearing to reveal one of its most devastating tragedies. The famed Glory electric streetcar, the Elevador de Gloria, derailed, careened some 800 feet down a steep hill, crashed into a building, and ended up in a mangled wreck. Many rushed to help, others scrambled to safety. The only thing we could do was turn and run, said this witness. It's a tragic situation, truly tragic, said another. For most tourists visiting Lisbon, taking a ride on this streetcar is a must-do. Millions of people hop on each year. As one car goes up, another goes down, both connected by a steel cable. Local reports speculate that may have snapped. The streetcar's company says regular inspections have been followed. An investigation now underway into this disaster that's pierced the charm of this quiet European capital.
Cable failures and brake failures are two of the most common reasons that streetcars have accidents. Lisbon's mayor says this is a tragic moment for the city that's never happened before, and he's declared 3 days of national mourning. Remy Inocencio, CBS News, Lisbon, Portugal.